Take photos, they're asking, like that, you know. Stan, can I stand me? Can you do that? I want to take a photo, I'm going to put it all on my Facebook, I'll put it all on maybe the website. I want to support these. This is disgusting what's happening to this family and this poor child. We want the child back. The fact that we don't know where she is, folks, is also illegal. That we don't know where she is. You know, this child doesn't exist in the system. You know, it was only 4 years ago she was attending high school, folks, with perfect results and speaking fluent French, but all of a sudden they come and take her and don't tell us. That's illegal. Of course it is. So, police came, you know, and said, oh, but we've had a phone call that you've been filming the public. What that actually is, folks, is that the social worker, because there were social workers outside and they were looking at the signs, folks, and they didn't like it. Oh, I've never seen a look like this in my life. They didn't like the signs. It was like Gallic to a vampire. But they also didn't like the fact is that we were getting public support and people talking to us and wanting to take our photos with me holding my sign, etc., and having a chat. But people did stop their cars and come out and speak to us, you know, and they left really concerned and said, look, fight on, never give up. Oh, I won't never give up. No, I won't give up until I have my sister returned to the mother, to a loving family who you abducted. Labour, corrupt Glasgow City Council. I won't. She needs to come back to her mother. That, I won't give up on that. I'll fight all the way. No problem. So the police came, didn't they, folks, and said, oh, we've had a wee call from, obviously inside the Rosedale Centre, that you've been filming the public. I said, excuse me? I don't want to film the public. I'm not down here to film the public. I'm down here to get answers at the Rosedale Centre. But a kid on MHO officer Jacqueline Jenkins, who was a social worker. It meant to be happening for a mother, you know, and without a warrant. So I said to the police company, and so I said to the police, can you guys, I was like used to they've already confirmed they weren't committing an offence. Now what's different between here and up at the house? No difference, we're doing the same thing. I want answers to come out. I'm not threatening. I'm acting within the law. I'm not threatening. I want my questions answered. Why you drilled the door? I can't get a lawyer. You know, we can't get lawyers, folks. We can't get to court. You know? So, police are requested, can you go in please to the Rosedale Centre and ask Jacqueline Jenkins and Leslie Anderson if they'd like to come out please and bring out a copy of the warrant. And when the police officer, I don't think they'll have a copy. That was very insulting to me, folks, because after all it's meant to be a social worker, meant to, they're the ones that are away for a copy of the warrant. You think you'd keep a wee copy in the building of the documents, you know? You know, after all, they're probably got a document all set up for my sister, you know, he's not done anything, you know. So the police on the way in, so I waited for 40 minutes, right, we're still talking to people, some people are speaking in, they left. And guess what, folks? The same police who asked to go in didn't come back out. They went out the other door. Haven't they? They've decided to themselves, we're not going back out there to speak to them. Are you kidding? They've not got a warrant. We'll just get that side of us. We don't want to be involved. And then a police van's been driving across, didn't it? And it parked him, he says to him, are you here for us? He says, no. You know, the sign, you corrupt the sign. Are you here for us? Oh no. And then they parked. You know, they parked in the Rosedale, you know. They keep a wee eye on us, you know, in case of, if they're breaking the law. You know, so you see, they can't keep up fake charges against us, folks, because we're filming everything for our protection, folks. You know, so we can't get faced with lies for these people, because they'll do anything. You know, they're corrupt. Yes, they are. So, but while the police were there before we sent them in, they told me they give us a warrant check. I said, sure, go ahead and do a warrant check, please. They done a warrant check, they come back with no warrant. And this was only 3 days before we went back to the GHA. Oh, there's no warrant. I said, that's fine, no problem. I spoke to the police in a polite manner. And they, obviously, there was no confrontation. It was fine, they spoke nice, and they left. The second time it down was the same, and they left. There was no problem. No warrant. 2 warrant checks, no warrant in the system. Fine, no problem, you know that. There's no warrant for a PF because it's a fake court. We went back to the GHA, didn't we, folks? If you watched the third video, we had to stand outside the GHA for at least 47 minutes before. No, I didn't go anywhere near the GHA for at least 47 minutes. It wasn't until when I went there, but they were already on their way. So somebody must have seen us. No, we went near the building, somebody went, they're outside, phone the police. They'd already phoned the police before we actually went to the door, because they didn't know we were there for 47 minutes. So, as the police came, didn't you? As you can see the way his attitude, you know. I'm the police, you know. I said, I'm going to have a rugby. Our mistake was turning the camera off, you know. But after all, we just had 2 warrant checks previous. And there was nothing. There was no warrant. No problem. We hadn't committed an offence. The police were happy for us because they couldn't touch us, because it's not illegal to do what we're doing. We're asking questions because we can't get a lawyer. So the police walked and they went. But we went to that place after 47 minutes at the GHA office. You see, this is obviously when we get arrested. The GHA are coming, the police are coming, they're unlawfully arresting us and apprehending us, and they're racking liables up. You know. But you won't be doing that again, Police Scotland. I'm going to explain to you why in 2 seconds. I'm going to explain to the public what you've been doing. So, police would like to have a word with you. Yes, we'll have a word. And as you can hear, the police say, I won't speak to him in camera because he knows what he's going to be doing is illegal. You know. So, started explaining to him. And then that wee police girl, if you turn round and see what she says in the third bit of sentence, she said, I think I spoke to you a few weeks ago. That's a lie. I've never seen you before in my life. So once again, you're lying in camera, police officer. Why are you saying you've seen me before? You haven't seen me before. I don't remember you. I haven't seen you. I've had other people watch the footage and turn around and say, but she's not in any of the videos. You've never seen her before. Exactly, I've never seen you before. So, we switched the camera off and what did they do? Slam, cuffs, liable against you immediately for that. And turn in and tell us, oh, you've got a warrant out for your arrest, there's a warrant for failure to appear at court. Excuse me, just 2 days ago, you see, that was the only reason that they could come up with to take us away from the GHA, because the GHA are screaming at this mob. Protect us, you got us involved, you're going to have to protect us. We can't put up with this outside our office. We can't have them calling us child abductors and fraud and embezzlers and knowing it's out fraudulent housing benefit and posting Twitter and YouTube. Why do you not take me to court for that? That's quite serious, isn't it? You've got to ask yourself what for. Now, this gentleman here who's on the cameras calling these child abductors and fraud and embezzlers, etc. That's slandering their good name. That's a serious offence to such the GHA. And you'd have to take me to court. But you can't take me to court because I'm telling the truth. And I've got the evidence to back it up. It's the reason why, folks, they can't take us to court. They can't take us anywhere near a real court. If we get to a real court, we get our family member back. And we can obtain justice. That's why they've stopped us. You know, you've got to understand this. They get in Frenchfordshire Council involved way back in 2003. You know, do us a wee favour, please. They're obliged to protect them. You know, now East Frenchfordshire Council's a sitting duck. They've done their shift, as I explained in the last video, how they done Mr Quigley proud and done corrupt Labour, Glasgow City Council proud. But now they've got to protect them from getting involved because East Frenchfordshire Council really had no interest in it. They'd no vested interest, but they did have now because they took their partner. They're obviously liable for it. Obviously, they've got to answer for these school reports how they take a child with severe mental health issues can speak French. You know, and a child that can weigh less than 5 stone is perfect at PE. You know, these are questions they can't answer, folks. You know, it's can't bank your rights. But still, so, police. They slapped the cuffs on us. Oh, you've got a warrant for appear at court. Excuse me. I said it's the only reason they could use. But I had to turn the camera off, they said that obviously. But I won't be turning that camera off again. In fact, Police Scotland, let me make this clear to you. You will not be approaching us, you will stay 10 feet away from us when I approach that GHA office the next time. Okay, we're not going to your fake courts anymore, your fake apprehensions and your courts and your abuse. You know, you're racking up libels, as I said just a short time ago. Norman Sullivan is racking up centuries at snooker. You know, you'll have to give it up. You'll have to go back to your masters in the corrupt Labour, Glasgow City Council, and tell them, look, we can't keep getting involved in this anymore. These people are not daft. These people are awake. They're not falling for their fake courts and their fake nonsense. And this document that you sent to us just confirms, which I'm going to show the public. It tells you you're corrupt. You're over. Your involvement in this is over. Police Scotland. And I'm going to do writing to your head with a massive complaint about your behaviour and your illegal actions. Yeah, not working for you anymore. GHA, Police Scotland can't protect you anymore. You're on your own. It's up to yous. I warned yous. No, you didn't listen. So, Felix appeared at court, slapped the cuffs on us, took us to Welland Street, held us overnight. Or they're trying their best to legitimise this, folks, you know. But one thing I must make you aware, at the first one, at Govan at Welland Street, this is important that I mention this, you know, because this is a breach of human rights, and once again, it's another libel against us, Police Scotland. For your fake apprehension, you took our prints and swabbed us, you know, when we're guilty of no charges. That's against my human rights and my father's human rights. You know, I would very much expect that they're gone, but we'll be still held accountable for them. See, they're trying to legitimise, oh right, that's your prince who committed a criminal offence, that's you in the crime system. You haven't committed a criminal offence, you know, so I hope they are vanishing. So, we ended up, second time, on the wee bus, going to the court. Guess what, folks? As soon as I went out G4 staff, we went one way, and all the rest of the prisoners have went the other way. You couldn't script it, folks. Yeah, we knew what we were doing. So, he took us in one way, took us another. You want a lawyer? I said, I can't get a lawyer. What do you mean, a lawyer? You know? Yeah. Oh, but I did get it. Oh, I ended up saying, well, who is he? Went to see him. Oh, you can't get a lawyer. He's one of their lawyers, folks. He's a duty lawyer in the court, etc. Don't forget, they all own them. Just remember Carol Davis, how she attacked my mother in covertly went with the Glasgow City Council and bosses. You know, how in the back pocket nice and cosy to attack the mother. See, as you remember that, you've got to remember we can't get a lawyer. Once we have to apply for a lawyer who attacked us, we can't get another lawyer. Okay, at the moment. At the moment, folks, we can't get a lawyer. But mark my words, we will get a lawyer. Okay? Yes, we will. GHA, East Renfrewshire Council, NHS, Mr. Dr. Quigley. We will get a lawyer. As my father said in 2011, Mr. Quigley. He'll be back. We will be back to obtain justice. So, I was sitting in the wee court room in the wee holding cells, you know, they're trying to legitimise this fake. I was sitting laughing, you know. Funny enough, me and my father were separated, you know. And then I got handed this, folks. Look at this. Look at the nick of this. No, but this is a photocopy of the original. The original one I got handed was totally covered in dye. It was an absolute mess, right? And there was a wee page attached to it. It has a wee circles with writing on it now. Wee letters and wee numbers. What is this you've given me? Look at the state of this. And I would want to read this out to you folks. It says the charges against you are on the 24th of February, the Glasgow Housing Association. Now, but how did you know it was the 24th that they were down? Because you're a police officer, and the start of the second video says, you done a couple of weeks ago? You didn't know we were down, because the house never phoned. But I know how you got the date, and I'll explain that to the people in a minute. On the 24th of February, the Glasgow Housing Association in Snitsel Road, me and my father did conduct ourselves in a disorderly manner, shout through a megaphone, swear. Swear? Who did we swear at? Who told you that we swore? Because I'm listening in the camera. Was it the father was at massive distance back from the building? Because it has a Zoom facility, I'll explain to you, Corrupt Police Scotland. And there was no one came out of the building. And from where I was standing, I never heard a swear word until I played it back later on when I went home. And I heard that my father had said, that's because of the light, folks. You've got to understand, at the time they didn't have the stand. My father was holding it, and because of the light we shine the viewfinder, he obviously says to himself, fuck, I can't see about this. He wasn't making any sense then. You know. Place staff in a state of alarm. What about my sister? What about my sister? If I put you in such a favour state of alarm, why didn't the police were called that day? Why didn't you know? Because you didn't know we were down. That's so much a state of alarm that you weren't called. You know, I'm not putting a fair state of alarm. And I'm pretty much sure that 100% of the public would much agree that what I'm doing, they would do the same if they went through the same. But I wouldn't want anyone else to go through this, folks, because it's absolutely, it's tragic, folks. But it opens your eyes to the corruption in Glasgow. Labour, you want to put your ex to them? Think again. So, Peter's place staff in a state of fear and alarm, operate a camcorder and hold at the face of Robert Bisland. Now, what they're saying, folks, is that who was operating the camera? My father. had walked right up to Robert Bisland's face and went like that with a camcorder on his face. And I've had to explain to you, Corrupt Police Scotland, it's not a prehistoric camcorder, it's got a zoom facility. They can stand away. And if you watch the footage, folks, I want you to watch it. You'll clearly see, and I take it that's his name, because it was the only person we spoke to, it was the only person that came out. And was he threatened of putting a state of fear and alarm? No. Of course he wasn't. I don't know why they put the shutters down. That's the worst thing they could have done. You know, that's an inconvenience to the public who's wanting to use your services. You know, your services, GHA. Robert Bisland, the employee, refused to detest, as though refused to take it away. If you watch the footage, folks, who did they swear at? They're saying swear. You know, there was only one swear. It was swearing the cameras from a distance. The fan was no one there. It was not aimed at anybody, and they know that. Refused to detest. You can see that it's blurry and it's out of vision. It's because of the zoom. It's getting a little to focus. And as you'll also see, that gentleman didn't turn round in the direction of where my father was standing with the camera. Because he didn't see it. It was nowhere near him. Mr. Bisland was standing talking to me, as you can clearly see, and I'm asking him, why are you not taking him out of court for... I can't answer that. And scurried away back in. But he didn't look in the Farrer's direction, did he? Because if Mr. Bisland, it's human nature, is it not? If you're getting something rammed in your face, you're turning around and looking at it as though to say, and you would have made a comment as though to say, hold on a second, who look at that camera in my face? But he didn't look round the direction, folks, at all, and make any eye contact in that direction. Because of the simple reason is he didn't know there was a camera there, because the camera was nowhere near him. That's the reason why he didn't say anything. And then all of a sudden, we've got to put another charge all of a sudden now, for the second visit, folks. Did a disorderly manner shout through a megaphone, play staff and operate a video camera. You did this with your face mask. Well, you know who I am? This isn't to intimidate. It's a megaphone I've got on me. I don't have anything that's repeat anywhere in a state of fear and alarm, but it does put you in a fear and alarm, doesn't it? Because I'm exposing you for what you did. And I've explained to the public, it's time that the public knew Scottish Labour, what they've been involved in since 1997. Yes, and Mr. Quigley Aston, you hide this too in your education system. It's got to public knowledge now. These documents will be published, folks. What I'm going to be doing over the coming weeks, folks, is that I'm going to be looking to gather signatures for a petition. Now, Glasgow's sticks for us, folks. Glasgow's corrupt to the, you know, we're getting illegally apprehended, taken to fake courts, you know. And I would like to say, hold on a second, what actually happened at the Sheriff Court, sorry. Yeah. So we got handed this document. Look at the state of that. You know what I mean? Do you think a PS going to issue that? No, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Not in the winter Sundays. No PS, folks, fake document. They couldn't even attempt to make it look. You know, there's a statement from Mr. Bisland. You know, what they've actually done, folks, is they've turned into them like, right, we'll watch the footage. Because they didn't know it was video. That's the reason why in the second visit they went, oh, we'll do you for the first visit. Because they're hoping it wasn't filmed, because they've seen the camera in the second visit. But then they were notified that it had been filmed. Couldn't put any charges. Have you ever heard of trying to contradict video evidence before, folks? Try to say, but that looks like, and that's what they've done. They've sat down and went, that looks like he's put the camera on his face. And he zoomed in. And stand in a court of law. You can't afford to take us to a court of law. You take us to a court of law, the party's over. That's why we can't get a lawyer. You don't want us anywhere near a court of law. You can't even go yourself for a warrant. That's like child abduction. That's the reason why this guardianship, fake guardianship unheaded. Oh, we've got guardianship, yes, state control. It's fake. The fact that Lorraine Cutley's not come down to legitimise it. Because if it was a legitimate document granted by a court of law, then Lorraine Cutley would be down saying, "Wait, I'm sorry, but you've lost your daughter's away. You know, the law, the court have got her. They own her now, you've received the document. I can take you to court now, I can take you to a lawful court now. I will take you for eviction." But she's not. That's fake. I can't even legitimise that document. Just the fact that the police, corrupt police Scotland, who's owned by this mob, you know, they can't legitimise this. And you know something, see when I requested this for the poor lawyer, see the poor lawyer we got in the Sheriff Court? Honestly folks, it was like throwing lambs to the slaughter. I don't know what to say to him, just I don't need blah 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 blah. He didn't know where to look, the poor boy. Honestly, he didn't know where to look. Oh, but he wasn't given time, you know. We found him out within 2 questions, you know. He's not a lawyer. If you can get a lawyer, you get your daughter back. Because the lawyer's going to turn in and say, I want. You've no want shown, right? I'll inquire for this want. So we can't get a lawyer to do that. You know, they've stopped us from doing that, you know, because there's no want. What to show folks, you know. So, well, wait till you see this, folks. This was the signature that was attached when I requested. I phoned up the lawyer's office after we'd been in at the sheriff's court. You see, the G4 staff, they shouted our names and took us into a court, folks. It was a room. It was funny. It was a bare room. There was nothing on it. And there was somebody sitting in the sheriff's chair, in the big chair. And guess what, folks? He didn't look at us. He didn't even acknowledge. He didn't look at us. And it was very kind of the G4 staff to plead for us. Oh, not guilty, and rushes out the door. No one spoke to us. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, you're really trying your hardest now, police Scotland, aren't you, in the Crip Labour Leisure City Council? It didn't work for you. And then you take us to that, then you send us that. To a procurator fiscal. And I can clearly see with these statements on this. They've been sitting like the footage and going, that looks as though he swore. Did you hear him? He swore. Oh, he swore at staff. He swore at staff. Excuse me? I think you just look at the footage as I've already explained. It's, as far as at a great distance, Mr. Brislin doesn't look in his direction because they're not even aware that even the first footage was filmed. That's Police Scotland desperation. What can we say? What can we say? What can we say? That can we say that? Oh, they swore. Don't be so stupid when they stand up in the real court of law. We're not going to get a real court, it's fake. So you're legally apprehended is on the second visit to attempt to legitimise a fake court. That's another libel against you. Staff by Police Scotland. You're racking them up. But the only one that I'm going to be interested in at the moment, and I'll have to make it for my sister, on behalf of my sister, because she's neurologically destroyed, who you kidnapped, I'll have to proceed with that libel against you for kidnap. Yes, I will, on behalf of you. I certainly will, and I'll take great pleasure in that, Police Scotland, for what you done. That was immoral and corrupt. So, they've been looking at the footage, aren't they, and trying to usual nonsense, you know. So this document fake is embarrassing. And see the lawyer, yeah, the poor lawyer who they told to actually bought and paid for by Glasgow City Council, you know, as lawyers unfortunately are, and they're told not what to do. He couldn't even legitimise the document, folks. They put in his signature. Look at that. Would you call that a signature? You see, nobody wants to put a name in it. Oh, I recognise that you're glad the charge sheet, so I'll put my name, that's me, sent it to you. They don't even want to legitimise the dog, they don't want to put their name, the lawyer didn't want to put his name to it. So what chance is a procurator fiscal got to put his name on it? It says here procurator fiscal K. Jones. Oh, see, we did get apprehended the second time here before that court. I heard the police turn in and saying, oh yeah, the warrant was issued by Sheriff Baird. Guess what, folks, that's the same Sheriff Baird that issued the guardianship order. That was the same Sheriff Baird that was in the fake court, you know, way back in October, you know, Sheriff Baird. You're probably a janitor, working in there. Put a suit on, kid on. Yeah, Mr. Baird. Sheriff Baird. So what are you going to do, GHA? What's going to happen now? You know you've got to take the mother to court, don't you? You know that, you've got to take the mother to court. You're into there's a spy on the mother's not a benefit. She's still got a daughter by law. She can't get income support just because you drill the door to allow the corrupt Police Scotland to steal the child. That doesn't change anything, Lorraine. And you know it doesn't change anything. That's the reason why you've not been down to the house after the fake guardianship so-called document for the court. Because you can't, because we already know. We know anyway, she's still got her daughter by law. She's her daughter, she's not the system's daughter. You don't own her. Not just because you found out in 2011 that you've been hiding. You see, pretty much the public would see it. Before 2011 she attended school, nothing wrong, and all of a sudden after 2011 it's mental health. It's not rocket science, folks, to understand that they were rumbled that Mr. Clug won the benefit fraud. Because the DWP don't want to pay back the money because it's easily proven that they had it. You know, they can't go to court, they can't. And I went for Sundays. That was the reason why they took her. I'll tell you also the reason why there also is no warrant. Because Leslie Anderson had given 3 different reasons why they took the child. That confirms to you that there's no warrant. Because if there's a warrant, there must be only one reason. You don't mention 3 reasons, do you? You know, but we know the reason why, because he sent it in the scene of the 17th of June, July, sorry. You're not accepting this about living was with benefit fraud to try and cover up and protect. You don't want to pay the money back, but you're going to have to pay it back. And every penny will be going to Michelle for that wee child, for what's happened to her. Even though she doesn't know what money is, that money will be spent well on her. That's all for my sister, to take care of her for the rest of her life. Yeah, folks, you're saying you just have to send your child and your sister requires to be cared for the rest of her life. So what's the school report saying? They had it, folks. You know, they had it, yes. Covered it up. So did the NHS, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? How the NHS said it's dehydration. And then as soon as Mr. Quigley mentions autism in the hospital, oh, it's autism, it's autism. You know, because he's mentioned it, you know, a statement that he's not qualified to make. But that confirms to you that the schools had it. It also confirms to you that Mr. Quigley had it. Even if it was autism, but it's not autism, he had to lie, obviously, I do understand that. But that also confirms to you folks that he covered it up. Now, Mr. Quigley, as you said to the father in 2011, Mr. Quigley, you turned around and you said, didn't you? He says, there's no proof it's a vaccine, Mr. Quigley, that's what he says to me. There's no proof it's a vaccine that damage your daughter, there's no proof, there's no point in any further in this room. No, Mr. Quigley, I don't have to prove, Mr. Quigley, that these unconsented action that you took, Mr. Quigley, a breach of the family's human rights, Mr. Quigley, back in 1995 and 1998. She wasn't your child to make these decisions for, Mr. Quigley. We didn't want these vaccinations administered into our child, and this is clearly the reason why as well, Mr. Quigley. We don't have to prove it was a vaccine, Mr. Quigley, because it's already proven. What are you going to say to a judge, Mr. Quigley? When the time comes, what are you going to say to a judge? What's the judge going to say to you? Why did you hide it, Mr. Quigley? What are you going to say to him? Oh, I didn't see it. But then all of a sudden you've seen it 17 years later, the father went round in 2011. Yeah, Mr. Quigley, as I said, I don't have to prove, Mr. Quigley, it's already proven by the corruption that we've faced from 2011 into the present day, that it was hidden. After all, folks, if you're an analogy for you folks, you do something wrong, folks, you know, and you don't want people to know you hide it. Yeah, and that's what you've done, Mr. Quigley, you breached the family's human rights, you also breached Michelle's human rights, Mr. Quigley. That action you took that day, Mr. Quigley, didn't just destroy my sister, Mr. Quigley. I think it destroyed us all. It's something we're going to have to live with the rest of our lives, is an action you took against my sister. We can't bring her back, folks. We can't make her normal again. The damage has been done. These unconsented vaccines by a doctor are meant to trust, Mr. Quigley. You took an oath, didn't you know it? You took an oath, didn't you, that you're meant to protect children's lives and preserve life, Mr. Quigley. You didn't do that here, Mr. Quigley. You destroyed a child's life. We had no chance to protect your family member. You took that away from us. We trusted you, Mr. Quigley, to turn around and say, ask for consent to these vaccines, Mr. Quigley, and let us have the human rights to say no if you don't mind. Because you know that's what would have been said. You do know that already, I know that. And we would have said no. No thanks, we don't want them, please, we don't mind. But you didn't give us that chance, Mr. Quigley. The condom were in to come around for 2 rain check sessions, folks. We never had a chance to protect her, folks. And police Scotland, you're telling me that we're breaking the law and you abducted my sister. Scottish Labour. Scotland lawyers for acting for us. No, I will never give up. And this is just a message to Police Scotland. I'm going to write to your top hierarchy of your Glasgow corrupt, controlled police system who run you and own you to commit crime. I'm going to make an official complaint against the behaviour of you in Glasgow. And I would like to say that when I go back to the GHA, yeah, I'm going back. And I'll keep going back. And I'll go back. Yes, I will. Of course I will. And you can't stop it. Not your producing fake documents and insulting my intelligence like that. There's nothing more than police harassment, folks. You see, Glasgow City Council's got to protect them. we'll protect you, we'll protect you. Yeah, if you don't, what GH is probably saying, we can't have them. You've really not take me to court. The child abductors, fucking embezzlers. That's a letter the mother got a letter, folks, from the Glasgow City Council on the April the 7th, but didn't get it in April, it was dated April the 7th. Somebody slipped it through our door a month later. It's just saying that housing benefit entitlement's now stopped. Now they've got it in writing that you're breaking the law and you're accepting a housing benefit. That defeats the purpose of me asking for it. You've got to give me the rent in your statement. The mother's not on a benefit. You know, there's no point in you taking your rent when the mother's not on a benefit. That's breaking the law. That's what you're walking into a DWP office, folks, and not a benefit. Can you pay my housing benefit? What benefit are you on? I'm not on a benefit. I'm going to say, you're mad. You see, you can't have it one way or another. You know, that's because they can't take us to court, folks. There's no warrant, it's child abduction, it's police harassment and fake courts. Yeah, fake courts. As I said, you rack the liables up, you're better off stopping it. Because you've nowhere to go now, as I've told you in the last video, you can't protect them anymore. Okay, you're Sheriff Baird. What you got to do, GHA? You got to come in a covert mission, GHA. Well, the mother maybe who doesn't have a daughter, you know, in a visual sight, who you took away and kidnapped. Well, they're fighting for rights, so she doesn't have a daughter because of your criminal act. So, you're going to wait till the mother maybe goes out now, because she doesn't have to stay in now because she's not got a severely disabled daughter who attended high school with perfect skill results. She doesn't have her now to look after and blah blah blah. Oh, but she will have her back very shortly. Yes, Scottish Labour, Glasgow's corrupt Glasgow City Council. Yes, she'll have her back. I'll make sure of that. So, she doesn't have, she can go out now, obviously, you know, and you're sending flyers saying that she's over 60 sport days. Don't insult my intelligence, GHA. You're corrupt. Child abductors, fraud and embezzlers. And I will continue to make that statement to everyone. Yeah, social media network sites, you name it, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. I know you're probably looking at my Twitter and Facebook now. I don't care. Because the people are going to see, hold on a minute here, he's calling him corrupt and everything, blah blah blah. Why do they not take that to court? That's serious allegations. And then you've got to realise to yourself, folks, they can't take him to court. Because he's telling the truth. Just as easily couldn't go to court for a warrant. I think he's saying the truth. That's why they can't take him to court. Of course they can't take you to court, folks. Need to go to a real court where the judge is going to say, listen, excuse me, young man, you're making serious allegations here against the GHA. I said, I do hope you have the evidence to back up these statements you're making. And I'll say, yes, Your Honour, I do have. And he's going to motion to see. And then when it starts to reveal the truth to the judge, yeah, a real judge, not a fake sheriff, or a janitor for the sheriff court, Sheriff Baird, you know, the judge is going to look at all the evidence that we have. Yeah, all the evidence that you thought you were trying to get that day you came and took and kept us outside for 25 minutes, didn't you? You'll never get that, don't worry, it's all duplicated all over Glasgow, don't worry about that, you know. But, as I said, folks, it's over for you, Police Scotland. Now, when I do approach the GHA office next week, when I do approach the GHA office next week, there's a possibility I'm going to expect to see you. Yeah, no problem. But you can park your van across the road and you can sit and watch. Don't come anywhere near us 10 foot near us, you have no mandate to. You're always illegally apprehended of fake courts and fake charges. That's an insult to my intelligence. You can't protect the GHA anymore. Now GHA, I'm going to say something for you now. GHA, you were instrumental in the abduction of my sister. It's not the system that I'm getting a benefit. You were instrumental with drawing that door because the police knew they couldn't get the door in because there was no warrant. You can also be instrumental now in returning that child to her mother. Now you can be. Now this will stop me coming down to your office. This will stop me calling you child abductors. If you want to stop me coming down to your office, the police can't stop. Glasgow City Council can't stop you anymore. Can't stop me. That's finished. That's over. You want it to stop, you can do it. You can try the solicitors. And if the actions of the GHA and the actions of your solicitors do the right thing and have the daughter returned to the mother, then my family will have a meeting with your solicitors if your actions support, if you're at what you do for us. What you do, it's up to yourself. I'm not bothered, I'll keep fighting, it's up to yourself. But what I'm saying is if you don't want me down at that office, get up megaphone, tell you to answer questions that you can't answer, then what you can do is you can get my sister back to return to her mother, rightful mother. That is her daughter after all, and you've abducted her, you're instrumental. Now, if you do that, and my wee pup comes back to her mother, into a loving family, yes, my wee pup, that's what I call her, folks, wee pup, you know, then I'll arrange for a meeting with your solicitors. I won't discuss in camera here. I'll have a meeting with your solicitors that could be very, very, very beneficial to your GHA organisation. That's all I'm going to say. That's up to you. I'll offer this once. Okay? No problem. That's up to yourselves. For you, Mr. Quigley, I don't have to prove it was the vaccines that destroyed my system, Mr. Quigley. Sorry to prove me the corruption that I'm through. The fact that I'm standing here wearing what I'm wearing and having and filming, I can't get a lot. The fact we can't get a lot of this is also just rubber stamps it was an unconsented criminal action, Mr. Quigley, that resulted in the child being severely disabled and destroyed, Mr. Quigley. Your unconsented vaccines. I don't have to prove it, Mr. Quigley, because it's already proven. So, no problem. You know, we'll see how much you can be protected, Mr. Quigley. Yeah, Glasgow, your Labour, local Labour folks, Glasgow Run, who've been overseeing this for the last 16 years. This is what runs your city, folks. Labour Party, Scottish Labour. This is what runs your city. This is a Labour Party, folks, that supports doctors of damaged children and hygiene in the system, folks. As well as East Renfrewshire Council, not forget them unfortunately for you, East Renfrewshire Council. I know you're, you know, guys, I know local Labour's trying to protect you, obviously. I'm aware of that. You know, because you took part in it, they're obliged to protect you. Oh, that's you, you're out in 11, East Renfrewshire. That's you done. No problem, you know, you've done your bit, locked in. You're just hoping that, you know, because you've nothing to achieve by you. I don't know. You did done a wee favour, didn't you? Because it's been very quiet, and you thought, okay, no problem. Let's make sure that's okay. It doesn't come back to us. It's coming back to you, alright. You don't worry about that. Big time. So, GHA, up to you. Okay? What you want to do. If we hope to hear from you, I don't know. But we'll be coming down very soon. We are coming down. Yeah, promise you that. I'll be back at the office. And as I said to Police Scotland, I'm going to write to your hierarchy at Police Scotland to see about your behaviour in Glasgow, with your illegal apprehensions and your fake courts and insulting my intelligence. You know, you just don't, you know, trying to bend camera evidence, you know, I've never heard it, folks. It looks like that might look like that swearing. Where's the statements, where's my previous? And so I don't have much previous, but you see, I'm talking about a fiscal in a Glasgow Sheriff Court, never going to send a document out like that. You see, it was actually worse than that when I got handed. This is a photocopy. Look at this. I've already shown this document to I don't know how many people, and I've all rolled about laughing. Going like that. Are you kidding me on? What's that? Laughing. But I know what it is. I said it's fake, it's okay, it's fine, it's fake, it's nonsense. So, fingerprints and swabs, Police Scotland that were taken back on the 3rd of March. I do hope they're not in your system. You know, I do hope they've now wiped him, because there's no kind of criminal offence taking place, folks. You know, my mother's acted in a lawful manner the same as you're doing, folks. You can't, folks, you've got to understand. You can't expect us just to walk in and say, can I make an appointment, please, to see Lorraine Kirkwood? After she's held the door for a child, for her to sit and watch their family member be attempted to be hidden in the system again after we found out in 2011. Attempted by the Department of Pensions, folks, who defrauded out a considerable amount of money for trying to falsely put on an illusional benefit by calling it something else. That's benefit fraud, folks, that's embezzlement. See, in the civil world, folks, in civil, that's all. We went to jail for that. You know, we go to jail for that. Child abduction, fraud and embezzlement. Oh, we're locked up. But these people think they can do it, yeah, and think they can just steamroller people. You know, it's just the same as the vaccines, folks. You know, mercury-based vaccines, see what they'll be touching probably in the whole of the UK, the country. You get your wee barometers with your wee silver, see the poison in it. These vaccines are mercury-based, folks. And that's when Mr. Quigley was asked, are you happy injecting everything into children's arms? He said yes. Oh, we're not, Mr. Quigley. And we didn't want it, Mr. Quigley. But you took it upon yourself, didn't you, Mr. Quigley, to covert Wayne check sessions, Mr. Quigley. We never had a chance. You won't be successful, Mr. Quigley. And neither will you, Scottish Labour, Glasgow City Corrupt Council. And East Renfrewshire Council as well. And whoever took part. You won't be successful. You won't succeed. I will continue to fight and never give up. We will fight on. You know, we can't get a lawyer, we don't have anyone. You know, the system designed that way, folks. That, or there's no help for that families, you know, yourself. You know, when you go into, once your child's been assessed or so-called, then you get applied a medical health officer, and then they help you fill in the big fat book. You see, that wasn't done, ma'am. She wasn't made to, there's no help for her. She doesn't need help, there's nothing wrong with her daughter. There's no help to have in the whole of Glasgow. The Corrupt Labour Glasgow City Council had made sure that there was no help for this family, no help for this mother who just found out her daughter had been destroyed with vaccines. That's how they built it. They didn't like it when I was there. That's how they're on the phone. You've no authority, you've no authority. See, I was interrupting their wee plans and their abuse. The same as a social worker, every time they crawled up the stair and they came to the door and I sent them away. You know yourself, folks. I've often sending away these social workers for months and months and then you're obviously right, they've no power and they can't go to court. Exactly, folks. It's not rocket science, folks. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to work this one out, you know, it's you have no power, you have no want. As I said, I've got every fake document under the sun except I want to take the child. You know that a judge is going to stand for the evidence they present. And the judge is going to, I've already said, but you've already been involved for a few months, how come you have not been involved? Where's the support for this woman? Oh, they don't want us to get the support, folks. They don't even want the mother to have a daughter, or they wanted to have a daughter from job seekers. Well, no problem, yes, job seekers, it's hidden. That's fine. Or it wasn't only just in back September and October at the Carer Centre. Linda Allen, who was trying to put the carers allowance. So it's amazing, folks, isn't it? In October, they're trying to get a carers allowance shoved onto a trickery. So what's the difference between the carers allowance and you come and take and draw the door? That's because we didn't accept the fraud benefit, folks. That's all it is. If we'd accepted that fraud benefit, that's not in Michelle's best interest, folks. I'm letting Michelle down. The family would never do that. We're not letting Michelle down. Never ever are we going to bow down to your tyrannical draconian behaviour, corrupt Labour administrative Glasgow City Council. So folks, when these elections comes up, folks, do you really want to put a tick next to Scottish Labour to run Glasgow? Honestly, do you? After this, after what I've told you, what the support? No, certainly not. Whose child is it next, folks? That's all I'm going to say. Whose child is it next? Whose child is it next to come through door and steal and take away? Whose family is it next? Whose human rights they breach? We don't have human rights, folks. We don't have human rights. Do you think you've got human rights? Your rights are given to you. You don't have the definite automatic rights as a UK citizen in a democratic country to have human rights. No, they don't exist. Your automatic right to a lawyer doesn't exist. You want human rights? Well, you get a lawyer against the masses, like the next door neighbour, whatever that's what. Oh yeah, you get, but against these people, against the Glasgow City Council and the rest of them, oh no, not get a lawyer. Lawyers are told to stand down. I wonder how lawyers feel when they're told not to act as lawyers because they're owned and controlled. See folks, it's lifting the curtain of illusion. See, you lift the curtain, and you can see it all. Oh, I'm used to it now, don't get me wrong, I'm used to it, you know, I wake up in the morning and I feel different, I see things different, I realise what we're living in, you know what I mean? All I say is I'll fight on, folks, that's it, and I'll never give up, you know. CHA, expect us, I'm coming to see you again, and this time it's up to you, you know, if you want to stop, as I say to you, you're instrumental in removing the child to allowing corrupt Labour Administrative Glasgow City Council Special Police Force and their social workers who are trying to perpetrate benefit fraud through a threat on June the 17th because they didn't accept the ticker. Now you can't make social workers, you can't make 3 different reasons verbally the reason why you took her. There's got to be one reason. That's how you've not got her. You've no reason. You can't go to court. That doesn't matter. It's fine. As I said, GHA, I'll see you soon. Wee pup, see wherever you are. Don't worry, you're coming back tomorrow. We love you and we miss you. And I'm coming to get you.